This video is part of the series describing features and capabilities of the new OutsideView. We will be covering the topic on the built-in embedded code editor. The intended skill level audiences is for end users. In this video, you will learn about file association, syntax highlighting, code folding, bracket matching, and changing the syntax file. The code editor will come up when you're transferring a text file, or usually any file that doesn't contain binary characters. When you're transferring a file, there's also the concept of file association. And with file association, it's based on certain extension types, and then you can associate these extension types with some of the syntax editors that you can select when the file is downloaded. Here we'll have an example. We'll connect to our host. Let me enter the credentials here. And once connected to the host, we'll download a text file. And this text file will be a source file. It'll be in the C source file, tandem C source file. Select it, download and edit. And once you see that, after it's finished downloading, the default code editor comes up, and you will see this choose editor syntax. It knows that this file has extension type source file C, and so it allows you to choose the different flavors of the C source file. On our nonstop, we have the ANSI C source file and the tandem C source file, and that will be the same for you guys. This source file is a tandem C file, so we'll select that and click OK. If this wasn't a C source file, text editor dialog syntax box comes up, and you can associate different types of syntax with the text file. One of the first things you'll notice is that certain keywords and text is highlighted. This is what is known as syntax highlighting. In this programming language, you'll see that words such as short, int, chars, void, set mode, and things like that are highlighted. This allows users to identify reserved keywords and makes following the code easier. Another feature of this code editor is what is known as code folding. It allows users to expand or hide certain sections of the code. For instance, this commenting section here can be hidden through code folding. And also this main function here, we can hide it or expand it to make it to show up in detail. What's useful about code folding is it makes the source file easier to follow. If you have a lot of lines of code in there, you could code fold sections that you don't need to look at and focus on just certain areas. What's neat about this code editor is you can expand all code folding sections or minimize them all. And as you can see, when you minimize them all, the code is much shorter. And you scroll up and down in the text editor. Another nifty little feature of this text editor is what is known as bracket matching. For instance, when you're reviewing code and it can be like a long method, such as this main here, sometimes you want to know where certain brackets start and end. For instance, like this left curly bracket, you want to know where the matching curly bracket is, and you can scroll down and you'll see that the ending curly bracket is matched with a highlight. And the same goes for parentheses. You can also bracket match parentheses, as you can see, left paren, right paren. With this bracket matching, you're able to figure out which sections of code that if statement is in, and you don't have to worry about if you're multiple nested if statements, and you can figure out which if statement that you need to focus on and write code to. Now, another thing that can be done with this text file is, let's say if you accidentally associate the wrong syntax with it, you can change the syntax association for this text file. For instance, when we first downloaded this file, we associated as a tandem C. If we want to change that as an ANSI C, all we would check is change the editor syntax icon, and then now you have a list of files that you can associate with. Now we can change it to ANSI C source file, and those syntaxes associated with that ANSI C format will be highlighted, and that's how you would change the syntax file. This concludes the code editor walkthrough. In it, you have seen how the enhanced features of the code editor aid in enhancing your experience and making changes to the source files.